Welcome to Georgia. Hidden in the rugged Caucasus Mountains lies a country that quietly holds one of humanity's most ancient secrets. Discovered clay vessels confirm Georgia as the birthplace of wine more than 8,000 years ago. Georgia was bottling sunshine as wine when most cultures hadn't even planted their first crops. This almost magical tradition lives on, with families still fermenting grapes in Gudauri, massive clay jars buried underground, using recipes passed down through generations. But Georgia's ancient mysteries extend far beyond wine, creating a land where Europe meets Asia in the most unexpected ways. The country's dramatic geography mirrors its cultural complexity, with snow-capped peaks giving way to subtropical coastlines within hours. Georgian culture has gifted the world with hauntingly beautiful polyphonic singing, a unique alphabet that flows like calligraphy, and a hospitality tradition so intense that refusing a toast is considered deeply offensive. This small nation has survived invasions, empires, and Soviet rule while maintaining an identity so distinct that visitors often feel they've discovered a completely hidden corner of the world. What are you waiting for? Set off now to uncover this country's hidden wonders. Every landscape, flavor, and story is calling you to begin the adventure. Snow-capped peaks pierce the azure sky like ancient sentinels, their glacial crowns gleaming under the morning sun. The Caucasus Mountains rise majestically between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, forming a natural barrier where Europe and Asia converge. This rugged mountain range, estimated to be 25 million years old, stretches across an impressive landscape of volcanic origins. The region harbors extraordinary biodiversity, with 6,500 plant species, 25% of which exist nowhere else on Earth. Dense forests of beech, oak, and chestnut blanket the lower slopes, providing habitat for deer, wild boar, wolves, and lynx. Wildlife roams freely here, including brown bears, Caucasian leopards, jackals, and the iconic bezoar goat. The ecosystem supports 348 bird species, 131 mammals, and 86 reptile species. The Western Caucasus has earned UNESCO World Heritage status as Europe's only large mountain area without significant human impact. These mountains serve as a natural border between Russia and the South Caucasus countries of Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. Alpine meadows burst with colorful wildflowers during brief summer months. Crystal-clear mountain streams cascade down rocky gorges, feeding pristine rivers below. Ancient cultures have called these mountains home for millennia, creating a rich tapestry of traditions. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. Which mountain does the Gergeti Trinity Church stand prominently beneath? Comment your guess. Like a silver ribbon threading through ancient valleys, the Kura River weaves its way across the South Caucasus landscape. This majestic waterway stretches 1,515 kilometers, making it the longest river in the Caucasus region. Born from mountain springs near Kars in northeastern Turkey, it begins its journey as crystal-clear mountain streams, cascading down rocky slopes. The river flows gracefully through Georgia's rolling hills, where vineyard-covered terraces reflect in its gentle currents. As it winds through three countries, Turkey, Georgia, and Azerbaijan, the Kura transforms from a rushing mountain torrent to a serene lowland river. Ancient stone bridges arch over its waters, connecting communities that have flourished along its banks for millennia. Willows and poplars line the riverbanks, their branches swaying in the breeze and casting dancing shadows on the water's surface. The river eventually reaches its destiny at the Caspian Sea, where it spreads into a peaceful delta teeming with wildlife. Fishermen cast their nets in the early morning mist, continuing traditions passed down through generations. The Kura's waters have nourished civilizations, inspired poets, and remain the lifeblood of the South Caucasus. Bakhmaro perches like a village drawn from a dream, often sitting literally above the clouds. The resort sits at roughly 2,000 to 2,100 meters, where cool alpine air and spruce forests create a restorative hush that locals long prized for its healthful qualities. In summer, the meadow turns into a green quilt dotted with wildflowers, and visitors come to breathe the crisp air and escape the coastal heat. When mist fills the valleys below, dawn and dusk unveil a spectacular sea of clouds that spills between ridgelines and makes every viewpoint feel otherworldly. Though Bakhmaro's main season is brief, its untouched slopes and raw landscapes reward hikers with quiet trails, hidden viewpoints, and a true sense of wilderness. Accessibility adds to its appeal. The final approach often requires snowcat or a short climb, which keeps the atmosphere remote and genuine. Accommodation ranges from simple mountain guest houses to newer lodges that embrace cozy wood interiors and roaring stoves. With sparse infrastructure and an air of unrefined charm, Bakhmaro feels less like a checklist stop and more like a private chapter of Georgia to be discovered slowly. Visit with an open heart and sturdy boots, and you may well leave convinced that you have slept above the world itself. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. Martvili Canyon carves a startling ribbon of turquoise through the green heart of Samogrelo, where river water shimmers between towering limestone walls. The gorge stretches roughly 2.5 kilometers, with cliffs rising as high as 70 meters and waterfalls spilling into quiet pools. Walking the paved southern trail, you move along hanging metal bridges and viewing platforms that bring you close to the canyon's most dramatic drops. For the fullest, most intimate experience, take the short boat ride through the northern, largely inaccessible section. Steep rock faces and thick, dripping foliage. Recent restoration work has improved paths and safety, while keeping the place feeling wildly natural rather than tamed. Early morning or late afternoon light is when the water's colors sing best, and photographers will find compositional gold in every shadowed inlet. The site is open year-round and has become a hugely popular day trip, so aim for shoulder seasons or weekdays to avoid crowds. Whether you drift quietly under dripping ferns or peer down from a cliffside platform, Martvili rewards patience with moments of utter calm and startling color. It is a place where geology and water conspire to create scenes that feel almost unreal, and every visit leaves you eager to return. Towering peaks pierce the sapphire sky, while ancient ice cascades down the mountainside, like a frozen waterfall suspended in time. The Chalaadi Glacier graces the slopes of Mount Ushba in Georgia's Svaneti region, with its glacial tongue stretching approximately 6 kilometers in length. At 1,850 meters above sea level, this magnificent ice formation is fed by the Ushba, Chetini, Buzduki, and Dalakori mountain streams. Chalaadi stands unique as the only glacier that cuts through the forest area, descending to 1,960 meters above sea level. Located just 10 to 12 kilometers from Mestia, it's celebrated as the most easily accessible glacier in Georgia and the entire Caucasus Range. The hiking trail begins at 1,670 meters and climbs to 1,950 meters, with the first 2 kilometers winding through enchanting forests. The final kilometer challenges hikers with rocky terrain, leading directly to the glacier's magnificent terminus. The moderate hike passes through traditional Swan villages and ancient defensive towers, offering panoramic views of surrounding peaks including Mount Ushba. This glacier serves as the birthplace of the Chalaadi River, which eventually feeds into the Mestia River downstream. The optimal hiking season runs from June through October, when weather conditions provide the safest and most spectacular viewing opportunities. A cluster of stone towers and timber houses perches above emerald valleys where Mestia keeps its old-world hush beneath soaring snowy peaks. The town sits at roughly 1,500 meters above sea level, where the air is thin, bright, and instantly invigorating. Mestia is the cultural heart of Upper Svaneti, home to the proud Svan people whose language, songs, and customs have endured for centuries. Medieval defensive towers rise from farmsteads and alleyways like squat sentinels, their weathered stones casting long dramatic shadows at dusk. Inside small museums and family homes, faded icons and hand-stitched textiles whisper the region's layered history. From town, you can step straight onto high-altitude trails that thread glaciers, hidden lakes, and serrated ridgelines. The legendary route from Mestia to Ushguli unfolds like a slow revelation, leading past remote hamlets and to the highest continuously inhabited villages in Europe. Seasons here are theatrical. Summers bloom with alpine meadows and bell-flowered pastures, while winters turn the valley into a crystalline world of smoke, curled chimneys, and blue shadows. Peaks stand like rival monarchs across the skyline, their perfect cones and sharp ridges tempting climbers and photographers alike. At dawn, mist unravels from ravines and the first light gilds the towers, transforming ordinary stone into something almost mythical. By evening, lanterns and stoves glow and guests gather for hearty stews, mountain cheese, and the earthy comfort of Svan hospitality. Though remote, Mestia is reachable by a short flight to a local airstrip or by scenic road journeys that wind through river valleys and over high passes. The town's tiny museums and galleries translate stone and stitchwork into human stories that span generations. Spend a few days here, and Mestia will repay you with discoveries both small and profound. What's your preferred season to visit Mestia? Comment 1 for winter skiing, 2 for summer hiking. Standing at the edge of the world, I felt my breath catch as clouds swirled beneath my feet, like living silk. Gomis Mta, aptly called the resort in clouds, perches majestically between 2,100 to 2,755 meters above sea level, where heaven seems within reach. Located on the northern slope of the Meskheti Range in the Beshumi River Gorge, this hidden sanctuary defies earthly expectations. This mountainous jewel sits only 65 kilometers from the Black Sea coast, creating a mystical fusion of mountain and maritime influences. Surrounded by ancient spruce and silver fir forests, the resort is blessed with mineral waters and a unique spa climate. From this elevated paradise, visitors can glimpse both the Black Sea and the majestic ridge of the Greater Caucasus. Alpine summer cottages dot the landscape, like fairy tale dwellings among pine forests and blooming rhododendron luteum. Sunrise and sunset transform the white clouds into golden tapestries, creating unspeakable beauty. Each evening and morning delivers spectacular views that seem almost too beautiful to be real. The tourist season spans only 3 precious summer months, making each moment here feel like stolen time. The untouched nature and position above the clouds create a spiritual atmosphere. Walking through this alpine wonderland, one understands why locals consider it a gateway between earth and sky. Spring visits in June reveal the resort at its most magnificent, when mountain wildflowers carpet the meadows in vibrant colors. Time seems suspended in this ethereal realm where clouds dance with mountains in an eternal ballet. High above the valleys, the Svaneti Mountains rise like a ring of ancient guardians, their jagged peaks etched against an often clear blue sky. Stone tower houses cling to steep slopes like memories frozen in time, each one a tiny fortress with stories in its weathered mortar. Glaciers spill silver ribbons down remote cirques, feeding icy streams that thread the landscape with bright, restless life. In summer, meadows explode with alpine flowers and herbs, coloring the hillsides in unexpected splashes of crimson and gold. Fog and low clouds sometimes slip through the passes, turning forests of pine and beech into moodily lit cathedrals of green. From narrow highland trails You can peer into emerald valleys dotted with shepherds' huts and grazing flocks, a portrait of pastoral calm. The air itself tastes of stone and snow, and on clear nights, the Milky Way pours like a highway of stars overhead. Local villages retain an uncanny hush, broken only by cowbells and the distant ring of church bells, inviting slow exploration. For the curious traveler, ancient frescoed churches hide in cliffside hamlets, their faded icons whispering centuries of faith. Adventurers will find routes that test the body and reward the soul, from glacier edges to placid high-altitude lakes. In winter, the region becomes a crystalline realm of powder and silence, where footprints are the only punctuation on white slopes. Svaneti's food and hospitality are as elemental as the landscape. Hearty stews, mountain cheeses, and cups of steaming tea shared by crackling hearths. Every turn offers a new vista, a hidden waterfall, or a stone stairway leading to another layer of history and wonder. It's a place that rewards patience. The more you slow down, the more the mountains reveal old maps of trade, stubborn traditions, and tiny, unforgettable moments. Come with curiosity and a ready pair of boots, and Svaneti will tempt you into staying long enough to learn its secrets. Ski pristine powder in winter, and soar through alpine skies in summer, all at one destination. Gudauri stands as Georgia's largest and highest ski resort, perched majestically in the heart of the Caucasus Mountains. Located along the historic Georgian military road, this alpine paradise offers ski slopes with maximum sun exposure. The resort transforms into a winter wonderland, where crystalline snow blankets rolling mountain peaks that stretch endlessly toward the horizon. When winter melts away, Gudauri reveals itself as one of the world's most spectacular paragliding destinations, where adventure seekers can dance with clouds above emerald valleys. Tandem flights launch from dramatic ridgelines, offering breathtaking panoramic views of the legendary Mount Kazbek and surrounding peaks. Visitors glide effortlessly over vast green valleys, winding rivers and dramatic cliffs with experienced pilots, experiencing the raw beauty of the Caucasus from a bird's perspective. Adventure flights can extend across vast distances, revealing the majestic peaks of Badara, Kudebi, Kerdili, and Deda Ina Mountains in all their glory. Summer hiking trails wind through alpine meadows carpeted with wildflowers. The crisp mountain air carries the scent of pine forests and the sound of cascading waterfalls echoing through ancient valleys. Cozy mountain lodges provide warm refuge where travelers share stories around crackling fireplaces while sampling traditional Georgian wine. Whether seeking adrenaline-pumping adventures or peaceful mountain contemplation, Gudauri caters to every type of mountain enthusiast. This high-altitude sanctuary proves that true paradise exists, where snow-capped peaks meet endless blue skies. Here, every sunrise paints the mountains in golden hues, and every sunset leaves visitors breathless with wonder. Hidden for centuries within a steep mountainside, Vardzia reveals itself like a secret folded into the rock. Under the patronage of Queen Tamar in the late 12th century, the simple fortress carved into the Erusheti cliffs was transformed into the thriving monastic stronghold of Vardzia. It grew to a breathtaking scale, a 19-tiered labyrinth containing some 6,000 rooms, all hewn from the living stone of the cliff face. Narrow passages and a network of tunnels, some stretching nearly 200 meters, linked chambers, and provided hidden escape routes for inhabitants and defenders alike. Below the carved chambers, a natural spring still trickles through the tunnels. Locals once called it the Queen's Tears. In the 12th and 13th centuries, the rock city supported a large monastic community and an agricultural hinterland fed by terraces and irrigation. That golden age was cut short by a catastrophic earthquake in 1283 that buried and shattered much of the site, leaving only a fraction of the original grottos intact. Centuries of raids and changing politics further thinned the population, yet a handful of monks and pilgrims kept the lights burning in some of Vardzia's carved sanctuaries. Today, about 500 caves remain accessible. Their worn stone steps, faded murals, and silent storerooms. Walking those dim corridors, you sense the careful planning that let a community thrive inside the rock. Sunlight on the cliff face at dawn transforms the weathered stone into a palette of warm ochres and deep shadows, making the site feel both ancient and alive. If you love history, mystery, and raw mountain drama, explore Vardzia slowly. It will leave a mark on you long after you've gone. We collect details from various places. If you notice something that's not quite right or want to share more, please leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. The sheer magnificence of this towering giant leaves visitors speechless as its snow-crowned summit pierces the heavens above the Caucasus Range. This majestic mountain, and it was located in the eastern part of the Central Caucasus, the third highest peak in Georgia. The mountain is renowned for its striking beauty, with its snow-covered peak towering majestically above the surrounding landscape. Mount Kazbek possesses a rich history and has served as a place of pilgrimage for centuries, drawing spiritual seekers from across the Orthodox world. According to ancient legend, Saint Nino, the beloved patron saint of Georgia, spent sacred time on the mountain during the 4th century. In the Middle Ages, the mountain became an important site for Christian monasteries, and several churches and chapels still grace its slopes today. The area around Mount Kazbek is home to traditional villages where visitors can experience authentic Georgian hospitality and immerse themselves in local culture. The charming town of Stepantsminda, nestled at the foot of the mountain, serves as a popular base for visitors with its range of accommodations and dining options. For adventurous travelers, the region offers numerous opportunities for hiking and trekking, with trails ranging from easy walks to challenging multi-day expeditions. The mountain attracts serious climbers from around the world, offering several challenging routes to the summit. Beyond its natural and cultural attractions, Mount Kazbek serves as an important site for scientific research. The mountain and surrounding area harbor a variety of unique plant and animal species that have fascinated scientists for decades. Glacial streams cascade down rocky slopes, creating pristine alpine lakes that mirror the peak's snow-crowned summit. The dramatic interplay of ancient legends, Orthodox spirituality, and raw mountain wilderness creates an atmosphere of profound beauty and mysticism. Mount Kazbek delivers an unforgettable experience, offering tranquility for nature lovers and adventure for thrill seekers within Georgia's most sacred landscape. The approach itself is part of the pleasure as a winding road follows the Akhaltsikhe River and climbs through hairpin turns toward Godarzi Pass. Pine forests and picture-perfect wooden cottages appear as you enter the alpine zone, where the air is cool, thin, and scented with resin. In summer, Beshumi becomes a balm for heat-weary visitors. Its pure mineral waters and medicinal mud treatments, long prized for circulatory, respiratory, and digestive relief. Trails fan out from the settlement into meadows and ridgelines, offering hikes that range from gentle walks to full-day upland treks. Horseback rides across high pastures let you move slowly through wildflower fields, while distant peaks keep a silent watch. For families and picnickers, there are peaceful clearings and shaded glades, ideal for long lunches and afternoon naps beneath the pines. Beshumi's festival week in early August fills the air with music, horse contests, and stalls selling local crafts and hearty mountain fare. The local cuisine is robust and comforting. Think ajeran barano, sinori, and kavitsi, served with thick rural breads and mountain cheese. At dusk, the cottages light up and a gentle hush settles as stars appear bright and close above the tree line. Although simple in infrastructure, the resort's hospitality feels warm and lived in, with hosts eager to share tea, stories, and an extra blanket. A stay in Beshumi asks you simply to slow down, to trade crowded beaches for quiet ridges, and the clack of wooden spoons for the rush of mountain streams. A place to recover, a place to explore, where the mountains soothe and surprise and feel like home. I never expected a place to change me, but walking into Adishi felt like stepping through a portal into Georgia's most authentic soul. Perched at 2,040 meters above sea level in the Mestia municipality, this highland village stands as one of the oldest settlements in Svaneti. Located 27 kilometers from the town of Mestia, only 44 people call this remote mountain sanctuary home. Known for its traditional Svan architecture, the village showcases fortified towers and houses made of stone and wood. This compact and fascinating village captivates visitors with its secluded location and thousand-year-old fortified towers. Four different churches grace the village, each containing unique frescoes that tell stories of centuries past. Rich in historical and cultural monuments, Adishi plays a significant role in Georgian cultural heritage. The nearby Adishi Glacier adds to the village's breathtaking natural beauty, offering visitors the chance to witness both glacial magnificence and historic village charm. Morning mist dances between the towers, creating an almost mystical atmosphere that seems untouched by modern time. Traditional Svan families still tend their livestock and cultivate small gardens in this high-altitude paradise. Home to authentic architecture and the signature breathtaking views that trademark the Caucasus, Adishi is bound to enchant every visitor. This timeless village represents Georgia's mountain heritage in its purest, most undisturbed form. Not all destinations are measured by distance, but by how far they transport your soul from the ordinary world into something utterly extraordinary. Tusheti National Park is one of the most stunning and remote protected areas in the eastern Caucasus Mountains of Georgia. This historic mountainous region stands as one of the most remote areas of Georgia, offering incredible views of untouched nature dotted with ancient villages and stone towers. Established as one of 8 new protected areas approved by Georgia's parliament on April 22, 2003. Scattered on the southern slopes of the Caucasus Mountains, up to 4,800 meters above sea level, the region borders Dagestan and Chechnya to the north. This pristine, remote region possesses a very unique, exotic atmosphere, unlike any other part of Georgia. The park presents splendid alpine meadows, pristine lakes, and extremely well-preserved pine forests that create a hiker's paradise. Pine groves and birch groves are conserved within the park, along with key faunal species. As one of the most ecologically unspoiled regions in the Caucasus, Tusheti serves as a popular mountain trekking venue. Traditional Tushetian shepherds spend summer months in the highland areas, maintaining ancient customs of sheep herding that have endured for centuries. The legendary Omalo Tushetili Trek, one of Georgia's best multi-day hikes. Visitors experience almost untouched nature with high mountains, fast-flowing rivers, beautiful mountain streams, and large meadows blooming with healing herbs. The mysterious region offers diverse nature that enchants tourists, though it remains without modern amenities like petrol stations, banks, or ATMs. Ancient stone defensive towers rise from emerald valleys, standing as silent testimonies to centuries of mountain culture. Access requires navigating one of the world's most dangerous mountain roads, but the reward is discovering a paradise. Like a steadfast memory of medieval Svaneti, Queen Tamar Castle rises from the hill above the remote village of Ushguli. Traditionally attributed to the era of Queen Tamar, the compact stone fortress and its sturdy tower recall a time when family strongholds guarded mountain passes. Weathered walls and narrow embrasures still hint at the castle's defensive purpose, while ivy and lichen soften its edges. From the ramparts, sweeping views unfold across glaciers, pastures, and the whitewashed villages clustered below. Visit and you will feel the layered mix of legend, landscape, and lived history that makes this little fortress quietly unforgettable. The town unfolds in a tight cluster of stone houses and wooden stalls, every roof pointing toward the soaring silhouette of Mount Kazbek. Stepantsminda surprises even seasoned travelers with a scale of beauty that feels both intimate and cosmic. On clear mornings, the peak crowns the horizon with a rim of ice and light, turning the whole valley into a chapel of open air. A single dirt road threads through the settlement, from which trails fan outward into alpine meadows, secret tarns and ridgelines that demand slow walking and wide eyes. The Gergeti Trinity Church perches on a shoulder above town, its simple stone form a quiet sentinel against glacier and sky. Shepherds and their flocks move across the slopes, as they have for centuries, folding daily life into the landscape's long rhythms. Cafes and guest houses offer steaming bowls of khinkali and strong tea that warm bones and encourage conversation after a day on the trail. In autumn, the grasses burn in shades of copper and gold, while winter draws a hush over the valley under soft, crystalline snow. Photographers and pilgrims alike come for the light at dusk, when church walls and mountain faces catch a final glorious blaze. The air tastes of mineral and pine, and at night, the stars seem unusually near, as if you could step from the village straight into heaven. Festivals bring music and dance to the small squares, reminding visitors that this raw place also holds a lively human heart. Call it what you will, a challenge, a meditation, or a simple stroll. Stepantsminda responds with the same ever-shifting tapestry of mountains and sky. Leave your map open and your boots laced. The region rewards those who wander without rushing. By the time you go, the mountain will have taught you a small lesson in humility and a large one in wonder. Once a fiercely isolated mountain village, Ushguli now draws travelers who come for its soaring stone towers and the relentless grandeur of the high Caucasus. It ranks among Europe's highest permanent settlements, a place where thin air sharpens every color and contour. Its compact clusters of medieval Svan Towers and fortified houses look as if quarried from the mountain itself and earned Ushguli recognition for cultural preservation. The community includes several tiny hamlets linked by rough roads that open only in the warm months, so reaching it feels like a deliberate act of pilgrimage. From nearly every rooftop, the massive bulk of Mount Shkara fills the skyline, a glacier-crowned sentinel. Narrow lanes wind between stone houses where smoke from wood stoves curls into cold air, and shepherds move flocks across high pastures as they have for generations. Local life is elemental: gardening, dairying, and handicraft. Trails fan out from the village to hidden lakes, glacier cirques, and high passes whose vistas reward patient walkers with views no postcard can fully capture. Winters here are severe and beautiful. In snow, Ushguli becomes a white-stilled fortress, while summer dresses the slopes in green and dots the roofs with color. The village's hard-won character speaks of stubborn endurance, an unconquerable spirit locals sometimes call a fearless heart. Even a brief stay slows the clock. Nights are for simple meals, long stories, and fireside conversations that feel like a balm. The night sky above Ushguli is astonishingly clear, strewn with stars so bright the mountains seem close enough to touch. Alone and aloof, the Katskhi Pillar stands like a solitary sentinel of faith, a vertical island of stone rising from the plain in mute devotion. Towering roughly 40 meters above the surrounding fields, the limestone column pierces the sky with an almost impossible poise. Crowning its narrow summit are the remnants of a small medieval church and a tiny hermitage, where centuries of ascetic practice have been quietly inscribed into stone. For generations, the pillar has drawn monks and anchorites who sought the extreme solitude that only such a place can offer. Access to the top was traditionally by ladder or rope, a daring passage that underscored the votive rigor of those who lived and prayed there. Even today, the summit feels like a chapel adrift in the air, its little stone room echoing with the hush of wind and whispered prayers. From below, the pillar reads like a natural cathedral, its weathered flanks bearing the marks of time and weather. Up close, visitors sense the meticulous care that preserved the fragile masonry and fragile memories of worship. The surrounding landscape of orchards and low hills frames the pillar, making it visible for miles and lending it an iconic silhouette. At sunrise, the rock glows warm and ochre as if lit from within, and at dusk, the silhouette cuts a memorable profile against the fading light. Pilgrims and curious travelers alike come to stand in the pillar's shadow, to imagine the rhythms of a life lived between earth and sky. The site's blend of geologic drama and spiritual intensity makes it one of Georgia's most enigmatic and moving places. Whether a devotional stop or a natural wonder, the Katskhi Pillar demonstrates how solitude and stone can shape the spiritual imagination. Kakheti is Georgia's sunlit heart of wine, a region where vines drape hillsides like green embroidery, and every valley feels tuned to the slow rhythm of harvest. Centuries of family winemaking have shaped a landscape dotted with kovevri yards and patchwork vineyards that change color with the seasons. The Alazani River threads the plain, reflecting rows of trellises and the distant silhouette of the Caucasus. Here, ancient clay vessels called kovevri still ferment wines buried in the earth, linking each glass to a heritage measured in millennia rather than years. Towns mix lively market squares with quiet tasting rooms where local hosts pour generous samplings. Monasteries and medieval churches punctuate the countryside, their stone facades and frescoed interiors. Kakheti's cuisine matches the wine and heartiness arrive in communal platters meant for sharing and conversation. Seasonal festivals bring music, dance, and grape stomping to village squares, turning ordinary days into communal celebration. Beyond tasting routes, the region invites hikes into rolling hills, visits to historic estates, and quiet mornings wandering back roads lined with poplars and sunflowers. Boutique wineries and family cellars now welcome curious travelers, blending rustic authenticity with polished hospitality. Photographers linger at dawn when mist lifts from the Alazani and terraces glow in soft light. Whether you come for a single tasting or a slow road trip through village lanes, Kakheti rewards those who arrive with appetite and patience. In every glass you taste the place, its soils, its seasons, and the steady hand of generations who have tended these vines. Kakheti gifts its visitors with lasting flavors, new friends, and the profound sense that its hospitality is born from its terroir. Can you picture a city of Soviet architecture, ancient ruins, and the constant chime of slot machines, all under the sun? Welcome to Batumi, a Georgia's eccentric seaside capital that defies every expectation you might have about the Caucasus region. The sleepy oil town on the Black Sea has become the Las Vegas of the Black Sea, complete with casinos, neon-lit hotels, and a towering skyline. Yet just steps from the glittering boulevard, a different world, cobblestone streets, locals sipping wine from clay cups, and rapid-fire arguments over football. The city's botanical garden sprawls across hillsides like a tropical paradise, housing plants from around the world in microclimates. Batumi's architecture tells the story of a city with multiple personalities. Art Nouveau mansions stand beside futuristic towers shaped like DNA strands and spinning skyscrapers that rotate throughout the day. Summer brings an influx of Georgian families and international tourists who pack the pebble beaches and fill the seaside cafes with laughter and the aroma of khachapuri. The evening promenade becomes a living theater. Hijab-wearing Turkish visitors stroll past barely dressed Russian beachgoers, while traditional Georgian dancers share the stage with modern DJs. At night, the city transforms into a neon wonderland where the sound of slot machines mingles with live jazz, and rooftop bars offer views of ships disappearing into the Black Sea darkness. Despite its modern casino culture, Batumi retains an authentically Georgian soul where families still gather for elaborate toasts. The city's fast growth has created a surreal mix of ancient churches and modern construction, with luxury hotels offering views of both mountains and dolphins. Batumi is a beautiful contradiction, a subtropical resort with a gambling problem, an ancient port under a space-age skyline where east meets west in unexpectedly delightful ways. In the heart of Georgia's Samtskhe region stands a fortress that has witnessed over a millennium of conquests, reconstructions, and cultural transformations. Akhaltsikhe Castle, originally called Lomsia in the 9th century, was rebuilt in the 12th century under King David Agmashnabeli. The name Akhaltsikhe literally means new fortress, reflecting its strategic importance as a heavily fortified city with high walls and watchtowers. For centuries, this castle served as the seat of the powerful Jekeli princes and the administrative heart of the Meskheti region. The fortress bears the architectural fingerprints of every conqueror who claimed it: Georgians, Armenians, Mongols, and Ottomans. Even Tamerlane's legendary army swept through in the 14th century, Yet the castle survived this devastating assault. From the 13th to the 16th centuries, it remained under Georgian control before falling to the Ottoman Empire for 2 centuries. The original complex consisted of 3 distinct parts: the castle itself, the surrounding citadel, and the greater city, all protected by 3 ramparts. Built primarily of stone using traditional masonry techniques, the fortress demonstrates remarkable engineering that has withstood centuries of warfare and natural weathering. Today's castle showcases an extraordinary example of religious tolerance, housing a mosque, Christian church, and synagogue side by side. Between 2011 to 2012, extensive restoration transformed the deteriorating ruins into a major tourist attraction, designed to boost regional tourism. The renovation carefully balanced historical authenticity with modern conservation techniques, restoring medieval towers and religious monuments. Explore Akhaltsikhe's Ottoman tilework and panoramic views, Georgia's sole living fortress. Kartlis Deda is a monumental 20-meter aluminum statue overlooking Tbilisi from the top of Sololaki Hill, depicting a woman in traditional Georgian garb that can be seen from many miles away. The statue was erected in 1958 to celebrate Tbilisi's 1,500th anniversary, designed by prominent Georgian sculptor Elguja Amashukeli. In her left hand, she holds a bowl of wine symbolizing friendliness and hospitality, while in her right hand, she clutches a sword representing readiness to fight off enemies. For Georgians, wine symbolizes hospitality for friends, the sword, defiance for enemies. The statue is strategically located near Narikala Fortress, overlooking Old Tbilisi, the Botanical Garden, and the entire capital city. Visitors can reach Kartlis Deda either on foot or by taking the cable car from Reich Park, which connects directly to the Narikala area. In 1997, the statue underwent a complete replacement with a new version featuring a more modern dress design and a different headdress with bay leaves instead of the traditional headscarf. This modernization caused significant controversy among Georgians, with many expressing displeasure at the loss of traditional authenticity. The sculptor named his work Capital, with the cup and sword symbolizing Georgian hospitality and resilience in battle. Kartlis Deda has become the main symbol of Georgia and one of Tbilisi's most beloved landmarks, embodying the city's spirit of strength, hospitality, and resilience. From the moment you arrive, you're greeted by narrow cobblestone streets, charming balconies, and picturesque surroundings that make Old Tbilisi a must-visit destination for anyone seeking a unique cultural experience. Founded in the 5th century AD, Tbilisi has withstood centuries of invasions, with the Old Town area bearing witness to this tumultuous past. Though largely destroyed in 1795, Old Tbilisi's 5th century origins reflect a layered history of Persian, Arab, Ottoman, and Russian rule. Old Tbilisi's iconic balconies assumed their current form in the 1940s, with plain wooden ones facing courtyards and ornate versions adorning the facades. The area's architecture spans from 4th century Persian, Byzantine, and Ottoman influences to medieval, Renaissance, and Soviet, with structural remnants throughout. Built in an Oriental style, these structures feature domed, low buildings with brick walls, basement rooms, and flooring of gray porous stone. Today, the district contains numerous theaters, art galleries, traditional wine cellars, and local craft shops that preserve the area's cultural heritage. The district houses a bulk of the tourist attractions and serves as the heart of Tbilisi's cultural and historical identity. The most intriguing aspect is the juxtaposition of different architectural periods, creating a unique urban landscape that tells the story of Georgia's complex history. A charming mix of theaters, fortresses, parks, and food, Old Town Tbilisi is Georgia's safe and friendly heart. Tbilisi, the enchanting capital of Georgia, captivates visitors with its timeless charm and rich cultural heritage. Nestled in the heart of the Caucasus region, this ancient city has been a crossroads of civilizations for over 1,500 years. The cobblestone streets of Old Town wind through a fascinating blend of architectural styles, from medieval churches to Art Nouveau mansions. Colorful wooden balconies hang over narrow alleys, creating a romantic atmosphere that feels straight out of a fairy tale. Narikala Fortress stands majestically on a hilltop, watching over the city like a silent guardian. Khertvisi River flows gently through the city center, reflecting the warm lights of traditional Georgian houses. Local markets burst with the aromas of khachapuri, khinkali, and other beloved Georgian delicacies. Wine culture thrives here, as Georgia is considered the birthplace of winemaking, with an 8,000-year tradition. Churches and mosques coexist peacefully, reflecting the city's diverse religious heritage. Traditional Georgian polyphonic singing echoes through ancient courtyards during evening gatherings. Modern cafes and galleries blend seamlessly with historical monuments, creating a unique urban landscape. The warmth of Georgian hospitality makes every visitor feel like family. Towering over the gentle bend of the Rioni River, Kutaisi unfolds as a city that wears its ancient history with easy grace. Founded long before the Common Era, its streets echo with stories that stretch back nearly 3,500 years. The wide Garden Boulevard leads you to a lively central square where locals linger over coffee and conversation beneath plane trees. A fountain here celebrates the legendary cultist treasures and hints at the city's mythic ties to the Argonauts. Stone bridges arch across the Rioni and frame views of white riverbed stones that glitter in low light. Perched on a nearby hill, the rebuilt Bagrati Cathedral crowns the skyline and offers sweeping panoramas over the city and its river. Not far away, the Chalaadi Monastery stands as a World Heritage Site, its frescoed churches and cloistered courtyards speaking of Georgia's medieval Golden Age. Quiet lanes open into cheerful markets where farmers sell ripe fruit, walnut oil, and fragrant breads that taste of home. The Botanical Garden provides a green refuge where paths wind beneath magnolia and oak and where the air smells faintly of jasmine. Day trips from Kutaisi reveal canyoned rivers, glassy lakes, and caves whose stone formations feel like other worlds. The city's theater and opera house celebrate a lively cultural calendar that blends classic performance with contemporary creativity. In tavernas at dusk, local wine flows freely, and tables fill with dishes that are rustic, generous, and utterly satisfying. Come a few hours or a few days and you will leave with memories of stone, river, and the unmistakable warmth of Georgian hospitality. Born from Soviet-era ambitions and engineering prowess, the Inguri Dam began its construction in 1961, marking the start of a monumental 26-year project that would reshape Western Georgia's landscape. Standing majestically at 892 feet tall, this double curvature arch dam ranks among the world's highest concrete arch structures. Constructed in the narrow canyon of the Inguri River near the town of Zhinvali, the dam creates a breathtaking fusion of engineering marvel and natural beauty. The structure became temporarily operational in 1978 and reached full completion in 1987, representing decades of Soviet engineering expertise. This hydroelectric powerhouse generates approximately 40% of Georgia's total electricity, making it vital to the nation's energy independence. The dam's crest stretches 2,231 feet across the dramatic canyon, creating an impressive silhouette against the Caucasus Mountains. Behind the concrete wall lies a stunning turquoise reservoir that mirrors the surrounding peaks and forests. Recognized for its architectural significance, the facility was included in Georgia's Cultural Heritage List in 2015. The surrounding landscape offers spectacular views where pristine mountain waters meet cutting-edge Soviet architecture. Visitors are struck by the sheer scale of human achievement, set against the backdrop of untouched wilderness. The attractive color of the reservoir water adds another layer of visual appeal to this engineering masterpiece. Erected in 1983 to mark the 200th anniversary of a historic treaty, the monument reads like a dramatic punctuation in the mountainside. A circular concrete ring supported by 7 towering columns frames a panoramic tile mural that wraps the interior like a painted storybook. Up close, the mosaic scenes stitch together sweeping episodes of Georgian and Russian history with bold colors and retro flair. From the monument's rim, the Caucasus unfolds in layers of ridges and valleys, a view that rewards the short climb with breathtaking perspective. In summer, the air is clear and the vistas unroll for miles, while off-season mists can make the whole structure seem mysteriously afloat in cloud. Photographers linger as sunlight chases shadows across the columns, and the tiled mural catches the eye with geometric rhythms. The concrete and fading tiles give the place a time capsule quality that feels both retro and oddly timeless. Standing inside the ring, you sense the monument's double life as patriotic pageant and curious tourist waypoint. It prompts reflection on shared histories and on how public art attempts to frame complicated political relationships. Despite the tensions its name evokes, the Friendship Monument endures primarily as a vantage point where landscape and history converse. Drivers slowing on the highway often find themselves stepping out to breathe the alpine air and to look farther than they plan. Whether arrived at on a summer drive or a winter highway run, the sight makes the road through Georgia feel like more than mere transit. For many visitors, the monument becomes a memory lodged between mountain and mural, a brief but unforgettable moment on a grand highland route. As my boots crunched against the Rocky Mountain Trail, each labored breath brought me closer to a divine encounter suspended between earth and heaven. The Gergeti Trinity Church stands majestically at 2,170 meters above sea level, perched dramatically under the towering presence of Mount Kazbek. This sacred sanctuary is the only cross-cupola church in the entire Tybee province. According to legend, the church was constructed by a monk named Gabriel, inspired after witnessing an image of the Holy Trinity on a rock in this very location. The separate bell tower, dating from the same period but built slightly later, complements the church's striking silhouette. This 14th century Georgian Orthodox structure is crowned with distinctive cone-shaped towers that pierce the Caucasus sky, Historical records from 1906 suggest the church was built on a site previously used for pagan idol worship. In the 18th century, this isolated monastery became a sacred refuge, storing Georgia's most precious religious relics during times of invasion. The church's exterior features intricate carvings, including crosses and whimsical symbols like lizards and chameleons, set against pink, beige, and gray stone. Some historians theorized it served primarily as a hideout for Christian monks, fleeing invasions that threatened Georgia. Georgian folklore tells of the hero Amirani, chained to Mount Kazbek's slopes, as punishment for stealing fire from the gods, making this church a witness to mythical tales. Reaching this spiritual haven requires either a steep 3-hour hike or a thrilling half-hour ride in a local taxi up rough mountain trails. The panoramic views from this elevation reveal the raw power and beauty of the Caucasus Mountains, stretching endlessly toward the Russian border. This Zvedon sanctuary stands as a symbol of unflinching faith and unshakable devotion, representing one of Georgia's greatest national treasures. Mtsketa rises quietly where two rivers meet, its stone-roofed church domes tracing a skyline that has marked Georgia's spiritual life for millennia. This compact town feels much older than its modern roads, its lanes threaded with stories of kings, saints, and pilgrim feet. Once the capital of the ancient kingdom of Iberia, Mtsketa became the cradle of Georgian Christianity when the faith was adopted in the 4th century. From its hilltop viewpoints, you can see the confluence of the Aragvi and Mtkvari rivers, a natural setting that helped shape the town's sacred significance. The austere elegance of Zhinvali Monastery crowns a nearby promontory, where tradition says a saint planted a cross and the first Christian prayers took root. Narrow streets open onto small squares, where carved stone facades and ancient frescoes reward careful looking. Local craftsmen still practice time-honored skills, and small museums keep fragile manuscripts, icons, and textiles that speak of a deeply rooted cultural memory. Festivals and holy days bring the town to life, with processions and rituals that fold the present into a lineage of faith. The surrounding landscape alternates between rolling slopes and jagged ridges, giving each viewpoint a new compositional drama. Walking here feels like reading an illuminated manuscript, every corner revealing a fresh vignette of history and piety. Mtsketa's preserved architecture and sacred sites earned it UNESCO recognition, a status that acknowledges both its beauty and its universal value. Even in the quiet off-season, the soft toll of church bells reminds visitors that this place remains a living center of worship. Stay a while and let the slow rhythm of this ancient town shape your own sense of wonder. Evening on Batumi Boulevard takes on a quietly theatrical air as two towering figures begin their graceful mechanical dance. The 8-meter sculptures, crafted from layered metal sheets, were created by Georgian artist Tamari Kvesitadze and have become one of the city's most unforgettable public artworks. Kvesitadze drew her inspiration from the tragic love story told in Kurban Said's novel Ali and Nino, transposed here as a sculptural duet of forms and motion. In the book, Ali is an Azerbaijani aristocrat and Nino a Georgian princess, a cross-cultural romance that echoes across the monument's choreography. Watching the figures fuse briefly into a single silhouette suggests the fragile completeness lovers seek, while their repeated separation quietly acknowledges the distance history sometimes enforces. By night, the polished metal catches streetlights and starlight alike, turning the pair into luminous beacons against the Black Sea sky. Locals and visitors gather on nearby benches to time the meeting and to photograph the elegant union of art and engineering. The piece is playful and solemn at once, its rhythmic motion making a silent argument for empathy across borders. More than a tourist spectacle, the sculpture functions as a moving allegory, reminding anyone who stops to watch that connection is possible, even when it must be brief. In Batumi, it has become a modern landmark where story, motion, and place come together in a small, recurring miracle. Anacopia Fortress unfolds like a stone storybook of Georgia's turbulent past. The compact complex mixes stout defensive walls and slender church domes, their silhouettes reflected in the reservoir below. Once the stronghold of the powerful Aragvi feudal family, the site served as both a military bulwark and a ceremonial center for the region. Visitors enter through ancient gates that still hint at the careful choreography of medieval defense. Inside, carved stone facades and cross-inscribed capitals speak of craftsmen who shaped faith into architecture. The principal church, rebuilt in the late 17th century and dated 1689, displays delicate bas-reliefs and echoes a long tradition of Georgian ecclesiastical art. Nearby, a lofty watchtower crowns the complex, offering a vertiginous view downriver and across the green valley. Narrow stairways and shadowed passages encourage a slow, curious exploration from courtyard to chapel. Scattered fresco fragments and old tombstones remind visitors that this was once a living place of prayer as well as politics. From the ramparts, one can imagine banners snapping in Alpine winds and horsemen threading the mountain roads below. Today, the fortress balances preservation with accessibility. Its stonework conserved so travelers may linger without eroding the past. Seasonal light transforms the site, gold at dawn, austere and monumental at noon, and softly sentimental at dusk. The nearby reservoir and tree-draped slopes frame Ananuri like a painting, making every photograph feel like a postcard from another century. Within its courtyards, there is a palpable sense of both the practical logic of a frontier fortress and the quieter, enduring impulse to make beauty from rock and prayer. Alaverdi Monastery rises in Kakheti's Alazani Valley near Telavi, its towering cathedral visible from miles around. Founded in the 6th century by the holy monk Joseph Alaverdi, the site matured into a major ecclesiastical center. In the early 11th century, King Kvarika built the present cathedral on the footprint of an earlier St. George chapel. The cathedral ranks among Georgia's largest medieval churches, its dome and fabric reaching more than 50 meters high. The wider complex unites defensive walls, a 3-story palace, a wine cellar, and a traditional bath, offering a vivid cross-section of monastic life. Centuries of earthquakes and restorations have left the buildings with a patchwork of stone and brick that reads like a history in masonry. Careful clearing in the 20th century revealed fresco fragments from the 11th century, alongside paintings from the 15th to 17th centuries. From the 11th century, Alaverdi served as an episcopal residence, and the cathedral became a royal necropolis for Kakheti's rulers. Paykar Khan's brick palace, added in the early 17th century, reflects the region's complex cultural exchanges. For generations, the monastery has been a living place of worship and learning, where scribes and calligraphers produced sacred manuscripts. Each autumn, the festival of Alaverdi blends liturgy, market trade, and communal celebration, drawing visitors from nearby regions. Standing on the courtyard walls, you watch the Alazani Plain stretch toward the Caucasus and sense how landscape and faith shape one another. A visit to Alaverdi offers both a lesson in Georgian sacred architecture and a quiet impression of continuity across 1,000 years. Tybee Island's story begins with centuries of coastal use, from Native American lifeways to early European contact in the 16th century. In 1733, General James Oglethorpe established the nearby Savannah colony, and the island's strategic mouth to the river quickly made it essential to the colony's defense. Oglethorpe ordered a lighthouse built in 1736 to mark the river entrance, a navigational beacon whose presence shaped the island's future. Tradition holds that the young preacher John Wesley prayed here during the colony's earliest days, a small, evocative footnote in Tybee's layered past. Today, the island's true charm lies in its wide, sunlit beaches, where sand shifts like powdered gold beneath your feet. Gentle Atlantic waves roll in with a steady, soothing rhythm that both calms and invigorates. Sea oats and low dunes frame the shore, their silhouettes rippling in the salt breeze and shaping quiet pockets for sunbathers. Morning brings a pearly light that makes the wet sand glow while tidal pools mirror the sky. Evenings deliver spectacular sunsets that set the horizon ablaze in orange and rose. Marshes and tidal creeks snake inland, reflecting cloud and light in glassy channels and inviting kayakers to explore tranquil estuaries. The lighthouse remains a handsome sentinel, its striped face and spiral stare a favorite vantage for photographers and daydreamers. Historic cottages and shaded porches cluster near tree-lined streets, where the scent of jasmine and sea salt drift on warm nights. With small galleries, tide-wash shops, and long stretches of shore to wander, Tybee Island balances a rich past with simple, irresistible seaside beauty. Rising like a stone sentinel from the hills overlooking Tbilisi, the enigmatic Svan Tower offers visitors a journey through time and cultural discovery. Perched high near Turtle Lake in Tbilisi, this architectural marvel represents a somewhat paradoxical tourist attraction. Nestled amidst the tranquility of nature, the tower is best reached through a scenic 20-minute hike from Turtle Lake, adding an invigorating layer of adventure to its appeal. These towers are architectural marvels representing the culture and history of the Svans, a subgroup of the Georgian population traditionally tasked with guarding mountain passes. The towers were incorporated into their fortified homes, serving as a testament to their resilience in a harsh and challenging environment. Today, many such towers are scattered across Georgia, but the one near Turtle Lake is one of the most accessible from Tbilisi. The path to the tower offers a burst of natural beauty, shifting between quiet woodlands and panoramic vistas. Upon reaching the tower, visitors are rewarded with a breathtaking view that perfectly captures the dichotomy of Tbilisi's landscape. One side of the tower overlooks the bustling cityscape, offering an aerial view of the city's intricate network of streets and buildings. In contrast, the other side grants a tranquil view of Turtle Lake, its placid waters glistening under the Georgian sun. Part of the local ethnographic museum, The Svan Tower is an unmissable destination for those who wish to immerse themselves in Georgia's rich cultural and historical tapestry. This tower near Tbilisi is just a glimpse of what visitors might discover if they journey further into Svaneti. The stone walls whisper stories of ancient guardians who once watched over mountain passes with unwavering dedication. A symbol of Georgia's historical perseverance and cultural richness, the Svan Tower near Turtle Lake invites adventurers and history enthusiasts to uncover its mystique. Where river and stone meet, Meteki Church crowns the cliff, a compact stage where kings, monks, and legends have all played their parts. The current church largely dates from the 13th century, when King Demetrius II rebuilt the sanctuary on older medieval foundations. Oral tradition reaches further back, linking the site to King Vakhtang I Gorgasali in the 5th century and weaving myth into the stones. Architecturally, Meteki follows the Georgian cross and square tradition, while offering decorative carving and unexpected details that reward careful eyes. From many points across Tbilisi, the church appears to grow from the cliff itself, a deliberate harmony of temple and landscape. Over the centuries, its role shifted repeatedly, serving as palace chapel, fortress stronghold, and monastic center, so every wall seems to echo a different chapter of the city's past. The complex suffered destruction during medieval turmoil and was rebuilt, which explains the mix of styles and repaired masonry you can still see today. In the Soviet era, the building was repurposed as a theater before a celebrated restoration returned it to religious use in the late 20th century. A dramatic equestrian statue of Vakhtang I Gorgasali stands before the church, linking present sightlines to Tbilisi's founding myths. From the church terraces, visitors enjoy sweeping views of the old city, the meandering river, and the stone bridges that stitch Tbilisi together. Inside, much of the original mural decoration has been lost, yet surviving icons and architectural details still convey a sense of sacred continuity. Pilgrims, history lovers, and photographers alike find Meteki irresistible, whether drawn by faith, storytelling, or the sheer drama of its site. Standing there, you feel how stone and story have long conspired to shape Tbilisi's identity. The Bridge of Peace arcs gracefully across the Mtkvari River, a gleaming ribbon of glass and steel that quickly became one of Tbilisi's modern icons. Opened in 2010, its bow-shaped silhouette offers a striking contrast to the city's ancient rooftops and stone bridges. The structure was manufactured in Italy and delivered in some 200 prefabricated components before being painstakingly assembled on site. Stretching 156 meters, the bridge is wholly pedestrian, inviting slow walks and lingering pauses to take in the river and cityscape. After dusk, more than 10,000 LED bulbs awaken, casting shifting patterns of light that begin about 90 minutes before sunset. Those lights do more than dazzle. They pulse in Morse code to spell out the chemical elements that compose the human body. The Bridge of Peace links the leafy promenades of Reich Park with the twisting lanes of the Old Town, making it both a practical crossing and a theatrical promenade. Photographers favor sunrise and sunset for the soft, directional light, while night visitors are rewarded with the bridge's moodier, animated glow. In 2012, it was named among the world's most unusual bridges, a recognition that reflects its bold marriage of art, engineering, and urban placemaking. Walking its span feels like stepping between epochs, past and present, joined by glass, steel, and light. Weathered by time, Chailuri Castle rises above the landscape, guarding the confluence of the Kakheti Highway and the Chailuri River Valley. Also known as Niakura Castle, this medieval stronghold likely dates to the 16th century and once guarded the strategic gateway to the Iori Valley. Together with nearby Manavi Fortress, it formed a defensive chain meant to block invaders and protect the approaches to Tbilisi. The earth here remembers fierce conflict, including the pivotal 1801 battle that marked the last stand of an independent Georgia in this region. Time and neglect took their toll until 20th century restoration efforts revived battered walls under the care of local champions and cultural stewards. The castle's pentagonal plan, corner towers, merlons and gun ports still read like pages of military architecture, catching light and shadow as if to tell their stories. Even the name Chailuri, which means ravine water, carries legend, a saying about drinking from Chailuri that echoes loss, parting, and the deep human dramas once played out in this valley. Towering stone columns carved with the stories of ancient gods form an eternal library in bronze and granite for mortals to decipher. Created by renowned sculptor Zurab Tsereteli in 1985, the Chronicles of Georgia consists of 16 towering stone pillars arranged in a circular formation, each reaching approximately 30 to 35 meters in height. "3,000 years of history are depicted on these massive pillars reaching 115 feet into the sky, offering fantastic views over the city and Tbilisi's sea. Also known as the History Memorial of Georgia and Georgian Stonehenge, the monument depicts Georgian imperial history, famous literary works, and the role of Christianity in the country. The bronze pillars depict significant historical and religious events, scenes from Georgian literature, and notable figures such as famous kings of Georgia and St. Nino's Cross. The site consists of huge columns with statues depicting the life of Jesus and major figures from Georgian history, creating truly breathtaking artistic masterpieces. The monument sits at the top of a large set of stairs, overlooking the northern part of the city from different directions. Standing under these colossal sculptures and gazing up at them fills visitors with a profound sense of awe, enhanced by the monument's unfinished state. Located near the Tbilisi Sea, this hidden gem represents one of the most impressive but lesser-known sites in the Georgian capital. Beautiful views of the city and the Tbilisi Sea stretch out from this elevated vantage point, creating a perfect blend of artistic achievement and natural beauty. What a mystical paradise where sacred monasteries meet subterranean wonders in perfect harmony. New Athos, nestled along the Black Sea coast of Abkhazia, captivates visitors with its unique blend of spiritual grandeur and natural marvels. The scenic setting of the New Athos Monastery by the sea has made it a popular destination with Russian tourists visiting Abkhazia. The magnificent New Athos Monastery, founded by Russian Orthodox monks in 1875, rises majestically from lush hillsides, dotted with ancient cypress trees. An older church of St. Simon the Canaanite, dated to the 9th to 10th century and reconstructed in the 1880s, is located near the town on the Sertska stream. Since 1975, this underground wonderland has been a major tourist attraction, featuring its own underground railway and consisting of 9 major cavities. For the adventurous, the surrounding landscape offers hiking trails that lead to stunning viewpoints, allowing visitors to soak in panoramic vistas of the Black Sea and lush forested hills. The monastery's golden domes gleam against emerald mountainsides, while peacocks roam freely through manicured gardens. Cascading waterfalls tumble down rocky cliffs, creating natural symphonies that echo through pine-scented valleys. Ancient stone paths wind through botanical gardens filled with exotic plants and flowering shrubs from around the world. The harmonious blend of Russian Orthodox architecture and subtropical landscapes creates an almost otherworldly atmosphere. The allure of this sacred sanctuary endures, captivating those in search of both spiritual solace and breathtaking natural beauty. A slow hymn in stone, Svetitskhoveli Cathedral rises above the meeting of 2 rivers, feeling less like a building and more like the nation's spine. It commands a compact square where stone lanes funnel pilgrims and curious travelers alike. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Treasure, the cathedral embodies Georgia's long and luminous Christian heritage. Though its sacred role began in the 4th century, the present-day church was largely built in the 11th and enhanced over later centuries. The plan follows the classic Georgian cross and square, crowned by a high, poetic dome that lifts the eye and the spirit. Outside, carved stone facades and blind arcades offer small scenes and decorative motifs that repay patient study. Inside, frescoes and icons wrap the nave in color and story, while the iconostasis frames the altar with solemn grace. Tradition holds a Jerusalem relic is buried here, and a cedar from that grave provided the wood for the cathedral, a legend that fuels deep devotion. For centuries, Svetitskhoveli served as a royal necropolis and the coronation site for Georgian kings, linking throne and temple in a single enduring gesture. Today, the church remains an active center of worship, its bells and chants marking feast days and ordinary mornings alike. Each autumn, the Feast of Svetitskhoveli draws processions and candlelit prayers that fill the stone courtyards with humanity. From the terraces, the confluence of rivers and the sweep of the valley remind visitors why this place was chosen as sacred so long ago. Walking the cool aisles, many feel the hush of history and the warm echo of ritual in equal measure. Towering above Tbilisi's skyline like a golden beacon of faith, the Holy Trinity Cathedral commands both reverence and attention from every corner of the ancient capital. The Sameba Cathedral is erected on the Elia Hill, which rises above the left bank of the Kura River in the historic neighborhood of Avlabari in Old Tbilisi. The Holy Trinity Cathedral, commonly called Sameba, is the main cathedral of the Church of Georgia. This magnificent structure was constructed between 1995 and 2004, making it a surprisingly recent addition to Georgia's religious landscape. The architect Archil Mindiashvili won an international design contest back in 1989, though the project was delayed for more than 6 years because of post-Soviet turbulence. The Holy Trinity Cathedral stands as the largest religious building in the entire South Caucasus region. Begun in 1995, the structure symbolizes Georgia's national and spiritual revival, marking both the 2000th anniversary of Christianity and the 1500th anniversary of its autocephalous church. Designed in a traditional Georgian style but with greater vertical emphasis, the cathedral creates a striking silhouette against the Tbilisi skyline. The architectural style represents a harmonious blend of traditional Georgian ecclesiastical architecture with Byzantine influences, built according to 10th and 11th century norms. The cathedral is exquisitely adorned with unique arches and fretwork on the outside, and beautiful frescoes by Amiran Goglidze on the inside. The massive golden dome gleams brilliantly in sunlight, visible from virtually every vantage point across the city. Underground crypts and chapels extend the sacred space beneath ground level, creating a multi-dimensional spiritual complex. Today, this modern marvel still serves as the core of Georgian Orthodox Christianity and national identity. Celebrated as the cultural heart of Kakheti, Telavi wears its achievements lightly, a living wine tradition that has shaped eastern Georgia for centuries. At its center stands the palace of King Erekle II, a reminder of a ruler whose diplomacy and vision left a lasting imprint on the region. A magnificent plane tree, said to be 900 years old, anchors the town square and invites stories, wishes, and quiet photography. Broad avenues and elegant brick buildings give Telavi a relaxed, gracious air, where cafes spill onto shady sidewalks. Nearby monasteries reveal a deeper layer of medieval scholarship and stone-carved devotion, waiting to be explored. Telavi sits at the heart of Georgia's historic wine route, where family cellars and boutique producers open their doors for warm hospitality and robust vintages. Visitors can sample Kvevri wines made in ancient clay vessels, a technique that links present palates to an 8,000-year viticultural past. For those who want to learn by doing, cooking masterclasses offer hands-on lessons in Kakhetian dishes and the convivial feast that accompany them. Vineyards and gently rolling hills surround the town, creating a green frame that invites long drives and slower days among the vines. Ready to taste, listen, and wander. Broad avenues and bustling markets hum with the rhythm of daily life, filled with the smells of fresh bread and sizzling street food. At the city's center stands the elegant Dadiani Palace, a stately residence that now houses a museum, tracing local history and aristocratic tastes. Inside, rooms display icons, manuscripts, and objects that echo the region's layered past. A century-old botanical garden nearby shelters rare and exotic plantings, offering shaded paths and quiet benches for a slow afternoon. Zugdidi's cafes and family taverns serve hearty Megrelian dishes. The city's proximity to the Black Sea makes seaside day trips and coastal escapes easily accessible from its transport hubs. Historic churches and Soviet-era architecture sit side by side with newer municipal projects, creating a visible tapestry of eras. Seasonal markets overflow with local produce, cheeses, and handcrafted goods that invite lingering and conversation. Cultural festivals and museum programs keep alive traditional song, dance, and the distinct local language that defines regional identity. For travelers, Zugdidi is both a practical gateway to Svaneti and an unexpectedly charming destination in its own right. Strolling the palace grounds or walking the botanical paths reveals quiet corners and photogenic courtyards. Beyond its photogenic charm, found in faded facades, sunlit squares, and vibrant markets, Zugdidi greets every visitor with warmth. It's an authentic base for history buffs, foodies, and those setting off to explore the highlands. If you could find a place where cobblestone romance meets ancient fortresses and endless mountain views, you would find yourself in Signagi. Known affectionately as Georgia's City of Love, this enchanting hilltop settlement is in the Kakheti wine region. Signagi sits majestically above the Alazani Valley with breathtaking views of the Caucasus Mountains in the distance. Reminiscent of a charming little Italian village, the town showcases 18th and 19th century architecture adorned with colorful wooden balconies. This hilltop jewel is surrounded by a 4-kilometer defensive wall with 23 towers and 6 gates, creating a mini Great Wall of China that undulates along the curves of the hills. The impressive wall was built in the 1700s during the reign of King Erikle II to defend the city against frequent invasions and protect the townspeople. Constructed using local cobblestones with distinctive red brick accents, the fortress wall stands as both protector and preserver of Kakhetian heritage. With its narrow, winding streets and traditional Georgian architecture, the Old Town offers visitors a unique glimpse into the region's fascinating past. The terracotta rooftops and cobbled streets create picture-perfect scenes that stretch across the fertile Alazani Valley. The surrounding Kakheti region, renowned for its 8,000-year-old winemaking traditions, is home to 3/4 of Georgia's wine production. Visitors can explore local wineries and indulge in wine-tasting sessions, learning about the unique Kuvevri winemaking method that involves fermenting wine in clay vessels. The fortress provides spectacular panoramic views of the Alazani Valley and the majestic Caucasus Mountains beyond. The wall's architecture reflects a captivating blend of medieval and Eastern influences, adding to its historic charm and cultural significance. Simply oozing with charm through its cobbled lanes, stunning vistas, and abundant wineries, Signagi has become an absolute must-visit destination in Georgia. Ideally positioned on the ancient Silk Road just outside Tbilisi, this romantic town serves as the perfect base for exploring Georgia's premier wine region. A fusion of ancient ingenuity and sacred devotion, Akhaltsikhe emerges from sandstone cliffs as one of humanity's most remarkable rock-carved civilizations. Akhaltsikhe, meaning the Lord's Fortress, is an ancient rock-hewn town located in eastern Georgia's Shida-Kartli region. Founded in the Late Bronze Age, around 1000 BC, this abandoned settlement continued to be inhabited until the 13th century AD. Dating back to the early Iron Age, it served as a significant political, religious, and cultural center. Akhaltsikhe was an important religious, political, and cultural center during the Hellenistic and late Antique periods. In its heyday, Akhaltsikhe included more than 700 caves and cave structures, of which only 150 have survived to date. Its strategic position made it a key hub along the ancient Silk Road. The complex can be divided into 3 parts: south, middle, and north, covering approximately 8 hectares. The middle part is the largest, containing the bulk of rock-cut structures connected to the southern part via a narrow rock-cut pass and tunnel. Narrow alleys and staircases radiate from the central street, leading to various structures. The site includes dwellings, a pagan temple, a Christian basilica, and a complex irrigation system. All structures were meticulously carved out of sandstone rock. Visitors walking through its stone-carved streets will discover remnants of temples, wine cellars, and other architectural marvels. After Christianity's introduction, a three-naval basilica was built atop the hill above the ancient settlement. Visitors to this archaeological wonder gain a fascinating insight into millennia of Georgian history, where pagan and Christian heritage merged. Beshumi has long been celebrated as Georgia's historic spa town, famed for its naturally carbonated mineral springs and restorative waters. The town perches in a green valley ringed by pine forests, whose scent mixes with the cool mountain air. Central Park is the living heart of Beshumi, its tree-lined paths leading to ornate pavilions and bubbling fountains that source the town's famous water. This legacy dates to the 19th century, when Beshumi rose as an imperial resort, its curative springs attracting nobles and physicians to its grand sanatoria and promenades. Today, remnants of that elegant era sit beside modern cafes and tasting taps, where locals and travelers sample the bracing mineral flow. Trails fan out from town into Beshumi Karagali National Park, one of Europe's largest protected areas. The park's mixed canopy turns the valley into a mosaic of green that changes with every season. Cable cars and lookout platforms give sweeping views over the reservoir and the serried ridgelines beyond, perfect for dawn and dusk light. Local guides lead forays to forested ridges where quiet clearings and carved wooden chapels feel almost private. Beyond wellness, Beshumi's small museums and historic houses trace the town's role in regional trade and imperial leisure. Food here is simple and nourishing: mountain cheeses, hearty stews, and black bread that restore after a long walk. Come to Beshumi to sip its mineral waters, hike its ancient trails, or simply breathe in its forest calm. you'll find a unique blend of health, history, and wild beauty, leaving with a bottle, a memory, and the sense that these springs have offered recovery for generations. Khertvisi Fortress sits atop a steep rocky promontory at the meeting point of the Mkvari and Paravani rivers. It is one of Georgia's oldest strongholds, with origins reaching back to the early medieval period. The complex divides into an upper citadel and a lower courtyard that cling to the cliff like layers of history. Narrow tunnels lead from the fortress down to the river, evidence of careful defensive planning and a clever water supply system. Inscriptions record major rebuilding in the mid-14th century under Zakaria Kamkamishvili, which gave the walls much of their present form. Over the centuries, Khertvisi changed hands many times and functioned as a strategic gateway on roads toward the southern borders. The powerful Jakeli family dominated the region in the late medieval era, and the Ottomans later controlled the fortress from the 16th century. Today, visitors climb the steep approach to wander among stout towers, weathered stone walls, and a small chapel that anchors the site. From the ramparts, the panorama opens across a dramatic gorge where braided rivers and distant ridges compose a vivid borderland tableau. Although much of the interior is now an evocative shell, fragments of carved stone and ancient masonry recall the community that once thrived here. Khertvisi's mix of natural defensibility and human craft makes it a memorable stop for those exploring southern Georgia and nearby Vardzia. While ancient churches sleep under turquoise waters, modern engineering marvel pierce the sky above, a breathtaking fusion of Georgia's sacred past and progressive future. Zhinvali Reservoir is an artificial lake located on the river Arakvi, 70 kilometers from the capital Tbilisi, on the Georgian military road. Built in 1986, the hydroelectric dam formed this stunning reservoir that travelers notice as a perfect blue surface when journeying to Gudauri or Mount Kazbek. Located in the Caucasus Mountains, this artificial lake is renowned for its breathtaking scenery and crystal clear waters. This reservoir provides water for half of Tbilisi city, demonstrating its vital role in Georgian infrastructure. When the reservoir opened, numerous historical monuments, temples, and churches of the ancient city of Zhinvali were flooded beneath its waters. The remarkable 12th century Church of the Cross was submerged during construction and becomes visible for 6 months each year when water levels recede. Legend has it that beneath the tranquil waters lie submerged churches, and some say that diving down and ringing the bells of these sunken structures can make wishes come true. Tucked away in the Caucasus Mountains, the reservoir presents a photographer's delight with its lush green hills and striking turquoise waters. Surrounded by mountain ranges, it offers the perfect spot for picnicking while traveling the famous Georgian military highway. A celebrated emblem of medieval Georgian achievement, Bagrati Cathedral looms above Kutaisi as a powerful symbol of national identity and resilience. Perched on Ukimerioni Hill, the cathedral commands sweeping views across the city and the Rioni River below. Crowned by a single dome, this 11th century cathedral was built for King Bagrat III in the classic Georgian cross and square style. For centuries, the cathedral served as a spiritual and civic center, its stone massing and carved details admired by travelers and locals alike. In 1692, a cannonball strike during Ottoman incursions caused the dome and much of the roof to collapse, leaving the ruin that later generations sought to mend. Conservation and reconstruction work began in earnest in the mid-20th century and continued in staged campaigns over many decades. A bold restoration in the early 2000s rebuilt the dome and roof, sparking debate among scholars and heritage bodies over questions of authenticity and intervention. Those controversies led UNESCO to remove Bagrati from the joint World Heritage listing with Galati in 2017, a rare and symbolic decision. Despite that dispute, the cathedral remains an active house of worship dedicated to the Dormition and serves as the seat of the local metropolitan. It is also a favorite setting for weddings, civic ceremonies, and dramatic photographs at dawn and dusk. Walk the ramparts or stand beneath its walls, and you feel the layered history in every block and carved capital. Contested yet beloved, Bagrati endures as a monumental testament to Georgia's past and to the complex work of preserving living heritage. Ever feel like you're being watched by history? At Svetitskhoveli Fortress you are. This ancient guardian has kept its timeless vigil over the Aragvi Valley since the days of kings and empires. North of Mestia, atop a hill on the Aragvi River's right bank, the fortress blocked valley access and defended against invasions. Archaeological evidence reveals that attacks on the local population were not uncommon between the 4th and 18th centuries. Though comparatively little remains of the fortress complex today, it comprises two main parts, the citadel and the lower yard. Each corner of the citadel features a tower, with the largest being the impressive 3-story southwestern tower. All floors of the northern tower remain intact, while only the foundations of the eastern tower have been preserved through the centuries. Both the southwestern and northern towers possess military peepholes, likely designed for firing arrows during siege warfare. These towers served a dual purpose, functioning not only as defensive structures, but also doubling as living quarters for the fortress's inhabitants. So imposing and legendary was this fortress that locals still share the tale of how God himself sent one of his angels to aid in its defense. Anacopia Fortress, an ancient military citadel perched on Iberian mountain near New Athos, was once part of the capital of the Kingdom of Abkhazia. Built in the 2nd to 4th centuries, this massive fortress was fortified with new defensive walls in the 7th century. The mighty stone walls feature defensive towers, watchtowers, and an Orthodox chapel reflecting Christian architectural influence. This strategic stronghold famously withstood a siege by 60,000 men, led by future Marwan II during Byzantine-Umayyad conflicts. Wander through history amid ruins of a restored church and ancient tower. Taste fresh water from an old well, and reward your climb with unforgettable panoramic vistas. Our journey through Georgia may be ending, but the memories of its snow-capped peaks, ancient monasteries, and turquoise lakes will stay with us forever. From Tbilisi's cobblestone streets to Tusheti's remote trails, each place revealed a new side of this Caucasus jewel. The warmth of Georgian hospitality, its ancient wine traditions, and the stunning blend of European and Asian cultures create a travel experience beyond the ordinary. Every church, fortress, and glacier tells a story of resilience, faith, and timeless beauty. We've laughed, we've explored, we've virtually tasted some incredible. Thank you for joining us in beautiful Georgia. If you loved what you saw, just wait till you see it in person. Trust us, you'll want to book that ticket ASAP. Where to next? Comment your dream destination below. We just might go there together.